Welcome,
Welcome.
Housewives of True Crime.
How are you? Welcome back.
Happy Monday. It's Thursday for us. I just got off the airplane from my trip to Cancun. Some of you that follow me on Instagram, I think it's called Tab the Housewife, saw my post. And I have to tell you, I had a really great vacation, but it started off a little scary.
It did.
It did. Well,
what happened? You didn't tell me.
No, I didn't tell you. So first of all, did you hear about the people that went down to Baja where we used to always go with our surfer boyfriends camping? Remember
No,
this?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Well, these two Australians and one American went down to go surf. They drove down there to like Rosarito Beach and they got murdered. It came out the day that I was leaving. Yes, it's a super sad story. I feel like more and more that's been happening down there. Like I would not be driving my ass down there anymore, but we used to do it all the time.
We did used to do it all the time. One time I was at Rosarito Beach with a dude and we went swimming in the ocean in our skimpies and somebody stole his clothes off the beach.
Yeah, well, these guys I think wanted to steal their car and their money and they fought back and that was probably a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going down there. I was going to Cancun. By the way, I think that this first week of May is the best week to go there. It was like $250 round trip ticket and no one's there. Like no one.
Yeah. Okay? Everyone's waiting for summer. That's awesome.
Totally. Yeah. It is like the best time. So if you want to plan for next year, plan that time. Okay, so we get there. The hotel is beautiful. It's amazing. My husband and I are on the first trip since like by ourselves forever. And so no friends, no kids, just us.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm like, you've gotten away from your kids a lot.
Yes.
But not just, I did not realize, yes, but always with friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, we get busy and then I go to the bathroom and I see this inside the drywall cut out this little teeny tiny circle. Like something Jimmy rigged in there, right? So
no.
I am like, hey, Sean, come here. Like, check this out. And he checks it out. And I mean, it's like the drywall's not even patched up. It's like, and it's tiny. It's like a quarter of an inch or not like a half an inch circle.
Okay, so you're going to the dark place. You're thinking someone's filming you or something.
Yes. And so I take a picture of it. I zoom in. I Google search it. It's like it's a camera. And then I start flipping out, right? I'm like, oh my God. And then we found another one in the bathroom, right by where we just were getting busy. So I'm like, oh, now we're on the web. We are fully on the web and somebody's going to come and...
Well, I hope you put on a good show.
Listen, I mean, I wasn't too upset about it, but...
No kids, no friends.
Are they going to extort us for money or what? Like... I don't know.
Like, let them have it. I don't care.
I started having all kinds of crazy ass thoughts. I'm like, we forgot. What would you do? What would you do if you saw two cameras in your hotel room?
Well, I definitely would need to talk to somebody, but if somebody videotaped it and wanted to do something with it, I honestly, I don't think I care.
Yeah, we didn't really care.
I don't give a shit.
I mean, whatever.
They're no longer I'm not going to call them out. Yeah, no. I mean, we do ad for vagina wipes. There's nothing I'm afraid to talk about. I'll tell you about all of it.
Okay. Well,
clearly,
right. I wasn't too afraid of that, but I was just afraid, like, if we go, I don't know. I was just having some crazy ass thoughts. So then we sent like a video of it to our parents and we're like, okay, just in case, we don't come back. This is...
You should have sent it to me. Jesus H, you're probably giving them all a heart attack.
Oh my God. And then we walk out of the bathroom and then walk back in and it's lights They're little lights on the floor.
Oh my God, Tab. You can't be telling the difference between lights and a camera.
Oh my God. It is serious. I took pictures and videos so I could
Lights,
show you.
camera, stupid. That's what that's called.
Oh my God. I'm going to send you a picture right now of what it looked like, and you tell me what you think it is.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you why nobody was there in Mexico, Tab, because this is a busy damn week.
Oh,
It's Teacher Appreciation Week. And I mean, love the teachers. I did something kind of ballsy this year. Instead of bringing the teacher lunch every day, I gave her a DoorDash gift card. Like, I ain't got time.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
think that's a good idea. Then I
think they like it better. I would like that better.
Yeah.
Anywho, and it was like we had the musical theater. I had to sit through 2 musical performances in one evening.
That's awful.
From 4:30, it was awful. It was. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see this picture. Oh, okay. I could see why you thought it was like a camera or something.
Look, the wall is not even like put together. It's like somebody just took
it's kind of weird.
A little scraper and stuck a camera in there for a good time. Call me.
Yeah.
1-800-Mexico. But thankfully it wasn't, and we had a wonderful time. And you had to, sit through your kids' musicals.
I did. It's so funny because, it was 2 of my kids go to the same school and one goes to a different school. And the 2 that did it were both kind of like, how they have like stage fright or something. Like they get like so nervous. And I'm like, don't even worry. Like nobody knows what they're doing up there.
Yeah.
You just go with the flow, right? Rock that recorder. Oh my gosh. My son did, they take it very seriously. And there's a couple of kids that really are animated, I would say.
Yes. We have those too.
Mm-hmm. But, and none of them know what to do. I mean, that shit sounds so terrible. I'm like, no one knows the words. My son was like, I didn't know a single song, Mom.
You're like, it's okay.
It's okay. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
We've almost made it.
Almost.
5 years, girl. 5 years. All right.
5 years. Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to tell you something about that musical performance. Oh, just be thankful that your kid is not in dance. These dance moms go to these dance performances for 12 hours a day to watch your kids like for 3 minutes on the stage every freaking weekend. You only had to do it once this year, or twice.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to do it again next Monday for the other one.
3 times. I'm telling you, these moms, holy cow, they go every weekend, all weekend. I have a couple dance mom friends. It sounds like a total snooze fest.
Oh no, it's pretty nice. I mean, that is the bonus of not having particularly athletically inclined children. We don't, our weekends don't get messed up.
At least sports, it's like you're there for an hour watching action.
We do, we have to do independent sports like surfing and jujitsu.
Yeah,
so it doesn't occupy our weekends.
Oh my God. Okay, we have to talk on Thursday about this Tom Brady roast, by the way. Speaking of jujitsu.
Oh my gosh, I haven't.
That's so funny.
I haven't watched it yet, but I can't wait. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it on Patreon. So if you haven't listened or you're not a member of the Clink Clink Club or Patreon, sign up now. It's only $5 a month, and you get us 1 extra episode a week and 1 extra bonus crime a month. Also, this month is crime.
You get all the episodes commercial free too.
Oh yeah, you get all the episodes commercial free.
You don't even have to listen to me talking about vagina wipes. I mean, save yourself.
It's a total plus. It's a total plus. And we will tell you still the things that we really love, like the vagina wipes. in a very real way. Anyway, so yes, sign up for that. And what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Still in vacation mode. I got burnt as SHIT, man. I should show you. It's like as pink as my shirt is right now.
Let's get to the crime.
We're really over.
Yeah.
Okay, Gretchy. This week's episode is brought to us by listener Christina Kelder. Thank you. Thanks, Christina.
Thanks, Christina.
I'm taking you to Alexandria Township. Have you heard?
I feel like I have.
Oh, really? It's like an East Coast thing. It's a quaint little town in western New Jersey near the Pennsylvania border.
Oh, maybe I just heard of it from the Real
Jersey
Housewives
Shore
of New Jersey or something.
Yeah,
like
it's possible. I bet you that's why. Okay, it has a population of 4,983 residents. It's very small. It's only 27.5 square miles wide. So, quaint is even big for this place. Before America was even America, it was named for James Alexander, who purchased the land in 1744. 21 years later, it was formalized as a township by the Royal Charter in 1765. So this place has a lot of history. The average resident is 51 years old, and it has a median household income of $146,000. So I think people are old-ish. I mean, 51 is not really that old, but
yeah, be careful what you're saying.
No, yeah. I'm just saying, if the medium age, there's not a lot of kids running around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're making a pretty decent amount of money, and it's probably because they're all working in the city. It's not far.
Oh my God. I just accosted one of those people going door to door. We have a differing opinion about a particular issue in the city.
Oh.
Let me tell you, I exercised my freedom of speech. I might have.
You offended?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I was feeling it. Probably just drank a Red Bull. But anywho, I was out walking and I came back after only one lap in my neighborhood. My husband is like, "What gives?" I'm like, "Can't do another loop. Can't risk running into her again. We got to move.
No way.
We're losing friends."
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, so this place is also surrounded by wineries, which I think is why all the people that are 51 live there.
Oh shit, yeah. That's what you do.
Clink clink to that. That's where I'm.
Hang out at the wineries. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gus Christofi, he was born in October 10th, 1946 in a small village in Limassol, Cyprus, which is not in the United States of America. His Greek name was Konstantinos or Constantine. His aunt, Dr. Dora Constantinidis, I'm sorry, something, let's just
Greek.
call her
a Greek name.
Dora, called him Gussie. His family immigrated to the United States in 1950 to the city of Paterson, New Jersey. And according to Aunt Dora, Gus was very charismatic, super fun guy, loved to play sports when he was younger, and had a great personality. A little mischievous, got in some trouble, but very nice guy. As Gus got older, however, he fell into the wrong crowd, like some of us do, and he started using drugs. His light drug use turned into harder drug use and then to stealing from his family to support his drug habit. He would get caught every now and then and thrown in jail, and then his family would bail him out, and then he would steal from his family. This kind of sounds like, I hate to say it, but somebody in my family. And probably a lot of people's family that are listening, right? We all, maybe we don't all know somebody like that, but a lot of us know somebody like that. This behavior obviously broke his family's heart, which it mostly does. And
Totally.
ultimately, his family disconnected themselves from Gus, and that often happens. In 1995, when Gus was 49 years old, he finally sought help for his addiction and was accepted into the prominent rehab center called Freedom House in Clinton, New Jersey. After he graduated from this program, he reconnected with his family, including his Aunt Dora. He did so well at Freedom House that he became their house manager and eventually was a counselor there. And I fully give a lot of credit to recovering addicts. We know some ourselves. We know some
That are
listeners
killing
that are
it.
recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have some family members that are also recovering addicts. My uncle's, I think, over 20 years. So I know it takes a lot of effort and it's really an amazing feat. Gus was real proud of himself. He picked up his pieces and his life, and he moved forward with his recovery, and he started his life again at the age of 50. He started
Side note, I'm just so glad you're saying redeeming things about Gus, because I was so pissed because I love that name.
Yeah. Actually, I do
It reminds
too.
me of Gus Gus, the little mouse from Cinderella. I call my daughter Ruby that all the time. Gus Gus.
Yeah, so you were really mad that Gus was going to go down the rabbit hole of Loserville.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no. He got his shit together.
Okay, great.
He started a new career as a limo driver, and he was real highly requested because I told you he was real outgoing and charismatic.
I love it. Always sober. That's great.
Always, yeah, it is great. Aunt Dora said he just had a way of making people feel at ease when they were around him. He would talk openly about his past and his life as a drug addict. Every now and then, he would connect with somebody that maybe needed help or had a child that needed help, and he would always refer them to the Freedom House. For 7 years, Gus's life was back on track, and Aunt Dora said he was finally happy. Also, remember I told you Gus played sports? Well, he loved sports, loved sports. Like my son loves sports, loved athletes. And he particularly loved this retired NBA player named Jayson Williams. Jayson was a former pro basketball player who spent most of his 9-year career in the NBA with the New Jersey Nets. At one point, Jayson signed an $86 million contract, which is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Jayson is 6'10". He played both power forward and a center and was recognized as one of the best rebounders in the game of basketball until he got a leg injury that brought his career to a screeching halt in 2000. After he left the NBA, Jayson went on to work as an analyst for NBC.
Okay, so he's smart too.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was a...
Oh, Jayson. I don't think so.
Although
if I had
$86 million,
half of $86 million, I think I'd be hanging out in Cancun.
I think if I had a quarter, I'd just...
At your hotel with the cameras.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Doing it right in front of them.
Right. What do I give a shit? Crying home in my private jet with my millions.
Jayson was loved in the community for his charity work with the youth, and he received a lot of attention after his 2 sisters passed away from AIDS, and he took care of his nephews. In 2000, Jayson married Tanya Williams, and together the couple had 2 daughters, Triumph and Wisdom. And they lived in a mega 27,000 square foot mansion, Gretchy.
Okay.
Think about taking care of that, keeping that clean. Gretchen was just talking about her husband taking out the trash.
Oh my, yeah,
7,000 square foot of clean.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that is a monster of a house. Also, I feel like Tanya has it under control because naming your children things like Triumph and Wisdom, I foresee a strong personality.
I do too. You're right.
Okay. Those are interesting name choices. Just saying.
It is. The way they're spelled also is interesting. not, it's like wisdom, not whiz.
Like jizz? Gross. Okay.
Okay. Only you would think that, Gretchy.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so they lived on 65 acres also. And their house was called, or their, like, I don't even know if you would call it a house. What do you call
estate.
that? Like estate. Yes, the estate was called Who Knew? Jayson purchased the property and built the house with his dad, who was a contractor in the late 90s. The kitchen alone, Gretchy, was 1,400 square feet, which was bigger than my house growing up. Other indoor features included 8 full bedroom suites, a basketball court, and a pool. Outside, there were 3 par golf holes, a skeet shooting range, and some ponds. Jayson showed off his house on, you know what show? Take a wild guess.
Cribs.
Yes.
Yeah.
He took viewers on a tour and showed off his skills with his shotguns on that skeet shooting range. And during one scene, he showed off for the camera how he could break open a shotgun with just one arm and then snap it back, lock the barrel, and shoot it all with just one hand.
I guess that's impressive to some people. You know what I'm always impressed with on that show? I just like their refrigerators. That was my favorite part when they open them up and they have like they have so many people, that have like all the bottles of like whatever shit like turned in the same direction.
I know. The Kardashians have that too. It's like very impressive.
It's very It's very impressive.
I know. I can't do it.
My refrigerator is so embarrassing. The cheese drawer broke and now it's like sitting on a shelf. Oh, it's terrible.
My refrigerator, not this one because we just moved, but the one before didn't have a refrigerator light, and not for 3 years did I realize it. And so then Sean put
How come that doesn't surprise me? I feel like I'm picking on you a lot lately. I'm really sorry.
But... well, he put one in, but then it like the reason it didn't have one is because with that little like doggle thing, it like kept the refrigerator door open and all our shit would spoil. It was a real nightmare.
My refrigerator is like haunted. Like sometimes the light works and then sometimes it doesn't work for a couple days.
Yeah.
But then it comes back on.
Those lights are overrated anyways.
Right.
Okay, so back in 1994, Jayson had bought a gun and wanted to show it off for a friend. While in the parking lot, he shot the pistol at a security vehicle that was there. He also got arrested for this incident, which I can imagine he should have. Hello.
I agree.
And at the time, there was some sort of like pretrial intervention for first-time offenders where they could rehabilitate rather than punish them. And so he just got like, some community service for his offense. Then in 2000, Jayson came out with a book. There were numerous excerpts in this book, in his memoir, actually. It was called Loose Balls, which I can imagine.
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm so mature. Okay? Take that.
Oh, I was just waiting to see what you were going to talk about. Well, he talked about his loose actions with his guns a lot. He was very comfortable with guns, and he was also, in my opinion, very reckless with them. In one quote of the book, it read, "So I ran out to my 750 BMW and come back with my pistol, which naturally I make sure is empty, and I aim it at him." Like he's like talking about like scaring somebody with his gun. Another one read,
I mean, you don't point a gun at anyone unless you intend to shoot them ever. Like right. That's like, sorry, that's the rule.
Another one read, "I took the one guy's gun at the bar and slapped him with it." And then another excerpt in this book, dude, he's like saying this. It's so crazy to me. He says, we were taking turns shooting the 50 caliber Desert Eagle, the most powerful handgun in the world. So when I fired the gun, it must have been just a few inches from Wayne's face because the noise knocked him out cold. I mean, almost killed his damn friend.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So Jayson ended up keeping in touch with all of his old basketball retired guys and the guys that are still in basketball, including stars who eventually would go on to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. And on February 13th, 2003, the Globetrotters were actually playing about an hour away from Jayson's estate. He attended the game with his brother and some other guys, and after it was over, he invited all the players, or a few of the players, to dinner at his favorite restaurant, the Mountain View Chalet. Jayson hired a limousine service to pick up 4 Globetrotters and take them to the restaurant. And this is where Gus Christofi and Jayson Williams' lives will collide. Gus was just about to get off work when the dispatcher called up and asked if he might be interested in picking up some Globetrotters, and that Jayson Williams had called him, and he jumped at the chance. Like I told you, he was like a huge Jayson Williams fan.
Of course. Yeah.
So he picked up the riders from the hotel and headed to the Mountain View Chalet around 10:45. On the way, the players chatted with Gus and found out that he was a huge Jayson fan, and the Globetrotters invited him in to the private dining room so he could have a chance to meet his favorite player.
Ooh, is that okay?
I don't know if that's okay.
I think you have to say no.
Well,
but if Jayson Williams is like Dolly Parton, I'd be like, you can fire. It's okay. I'm fired. I'm not missing a chance.
Oh, you think he, as the limo driver, should have said no?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to keep it professional.
It's. I have been in situations before where drivers were invited in, and there is a weird thing about it, right?
Well, I just think, I mean, when you're in customer service and stuff, like I worked at a fancy hotel for a long time, and it was real clear, like you're not allowed, no matter how much the guests protested.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
Come to our room. Like you're not, like you clock out, you're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But this was like, hey, come meet him real quick in the
so maybe that's
room.
Okay.
I think that's okay. So when he got to the private dining room, Jayson looked up at him and asked, "What the fuck are you doing here? How the fuck did you get here?" And then everybody just went quiet. Gus was embarrassed. So he got up to leave, and just when he did, Jayson was like, "Nah, man, I'm just messing with you. It's fine. Sit down."
Oh, and he's that dick.
Yeah. So the dinner party got started, and apparently the liquor bill was $4,000, Gretchy. It's a lot of tequila. Gus, of course, did not drink, but he did dine with them. After dinner was over, 1:15 in the morning, the Globetrotters were supposed to go back to their hotel, but Jayson invited the whole group to go back to his house so that they could see his place. He wanted to show off how well he had done for himself, and they were like, sure, it's 15 minutes away. Gus drove them all to Jayson's mansion. They arrived there around 1:30 in the morning, and they invited him to go into Jayson's house. Gus had a little disposable camera in his limousine, and so he wanted to go in and see if he could get a picture with Jayson. Once inside, the group wandered from room to room and ending up in Jayson's office to look at some pictures. Finally, they went into Jayson's bedroom to check out his gun collection. Gus kind of trailed along, behind everybody.
Yeah.
And then around 2:54 in the morning, a 911 call came into the Huntington County Dispatcher Center. It was Jayson's half-brother, Victor Santiago, and he was yelling into the phone. He says, "Yeah, we have an emergency. Someone just got shot. Oh my God, we're so fucking nervous. He's drunk. He's grabbing the fucking gun out of the thing. Oh my God, we all just came for the party." They said, "Sir, do you have a description of the man that shot him?" No, he shot himself. He took the gun out of the cabinet. Hurry, he shot himself. "What's your name, sir?" "Victor." "So come on, somebody's dying here." Well, the police quickly arrived and they discovered that it was Gus. He was lying on the floor in the bedroom next to the table with a gunshot in the front of his chest. His shirt was soaked with blood. A Browning 12-gauge shotgun was on the floor just a few feet away from Gus's body. Investigators went through the entire estate, but their main focus was really on the bedroom where Gus lay dead. Besides the shotgun on the floor, they recovered 7 or 8 other firearms and that were in an unlocked gun cabinet. And by the way, all the guns were loaded. Now,
Awful.
This is where things get a little bananas sketchy. The guests, including the 4 Globetrotters, were gathered in the dining room where the investigators could talk to them. Jayson was all worked up, and right in front of the police, he was telling his guests, "Don't you fucking talk to the police. Don't you say a word." He said, "My lawyer is on his way." Jayson's attorney arrived, and because of that, obviously, no statements were taken from Jayson or the guests at the scene. But if Gus really died from suicide, do you think that he would say that?
No.
So,
clearly he was fucking around. He's a dick. I knew it at the restaurant.
You're right. You did know it at the restaurant.
It's one of those things. You know, that really sticks in my craw. There are those people who are like, they just, gotta like pee on the fire hydrant a little bit. Like you see it kind of like Ellen DeGeneres kind of does it to people sometimes.
Yes.
Where it's like, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to say something nice, but it's like a little demeaning.
Yeah.
Just so you know who's like alpha over here.
Right. You're right.
And you're like, I can't be mad because then you said it was a joke. But you didn't have to like make me, like you shouldn't make anyone feel that way, not even for a second.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
So Aunt Dora was notified of Gus's death by his sister, who told her that he may have shot himself. Well, she couldn't believe it. She thought there is no way he would have done that. Aunt Dora felt like Gus had such a zest for life now. He had plans. He wanted more for his life. His aunt did not believe it for a minute that he was drunk or using drugs, like they said, She knew something was wrong with the story. Gus was at a celebrity's house and just grabbed a gun and shot himself. She was like, bullshit, right?
No, it makes no sense.
When the police finally got information from the witnesses, the initial report said that Gus grabbed one of Jayson's firearms out of the cabinet and shot himself in the chest. The gun was found a few feet away, so hypothetically, he could have shot himself with the gun, dropped the gun, and stumbled over a little bit and fell. The autopsy, however, told a different story. The medical examiner discovered that there was stippling around the gunshot wound on Gus's chest. And stippling is when the gun is fired at close range and it causes like a burn in the skin from the gunshot powder or from the gunpowder. According to the medical examiner, it meant that the gun wasn't in direct contact with the body, but it was close. His estimation was that the gun was about 6 inches to 2 feet away from Gus when it was fired. The barrel of the shotgun is 28 inches long. Those things are like huge,
I'm holding my arm out right now, as I bet if a lot of listeners are, if they're not, driving.
Yes.
That's tricky. That don't make no sense.
And then you add like 6 inches to that, which would be where like you have to like pull the trigger.
Got to be an orangutan
and
with those long arms.
There's no way.
Also, people don't shoot themselves in the chest. Sorry.
They don't.
That's like,
I know they don't.
They don't. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's like the temple or the mouth, right?
Yes. Yeah. Or up the chin.
Yeah. Yeah.
More from the medical examiner. He says for Gus to have shot himself, he would have had to held the gun to his chest, lean around, and reach for the trigger. If that was the case, the trajectory of the shotgun pellets would have been on an angle. And the autopsy showed that the pellets went straight into Gus's chest and lodged in the back, evenly spread out. So there was no angle going on. In the autopsy room, the medical examiner took the actual gun and Gus's arm and tried to physically see if it was possible, and it was not. On February 17th, Jayson's attorney gave a statement to the press. Through the attorney, according to Jayson, Gus's death was a tragic accident, that it would be clear that Jayson Williams was innocent, and of course, he wanted to get the information out to the public before any other narratives could get out there. No fingerprints were found on the gun or on the shell that had been fired. Not Gus's, not anyone at the party, and not Jayson's. The gun had actually been wiped clean. Even with this information, no one at the house that morning of February 14th was talking. The DA had threatened obstruction of justice because of the radio silence, and then finally, a week after the shooting, 2 of Jayson's friends, Kent Kaluko and John Gordnick, came forward with their version of what happened to Gus, which is really smart. You know, what my husband says, it's kind of like a prisoner dilemma type of thing. I mean, you got to be the first to come to, well, the prisoner dilemma is if no one talks, it's always better for everybody. But
somebody always cracks.
Someone always cracks, and it's better to be the first one to crack.
I know. I wonder if you can have that chat. Like, listen, one of us is going to crack.
You can't have the chat.
You can't have the chat? No.
No.
But if 2 of them are like innocent, you could be like, let's like, dude, let's corroborate each other's stories and crack at the same time, cut the same deal.
Yes, that's what these guys did.
That is smart. Also, you should do it not just to save your own ass, because
it's the right thing to do.
Because it's the right thing to do. Because hasn't he put his family through this? You know, this man's family been through enough with his addiction and everything, and now they have to like think that he took his own life instead of, you know, whatever. Like, they are owed the truth.
Truth, girl, truth. So according to these 2, when they went into the bedroom to look at the gun collection, Jayson removed the shotgun from the cabinet and it accidentally went off. Gus hit his knees and cried out, "Oh my God, what just happened? Shit, I fucked up my life."
Wait, tell me that again.
They said that when Jayson removed the shotgun from the cabinet, it accidentally went off. Gus hit his knees and cried out, "Oh my God, what just happened? Shit, I fucked up my life."
Oh, Jayson's not like, "Are you okay, Gus?" He just shot him and then is like, "I fucked up my life."
No, I think that, yeah.
That's awful.
Kent and John said that the gun went off at 2:15 in the morning. But if you remember, that 911 call didn't come in until almost 3 o'clock in the morning, 45 minutes after Gus had been shot. They went on and said that Gus was bleeding and gasping for air, and they tried to check his pulse. I guess that was the extent of helping Gus. These two kept spilling the tea and said that the time between the shotgun going off and the 911 call, Jayson grabbed a cloth and wiped down the gun. Then he went over to Gus as he lay on the floor dying and put Gus's hand on the barrel so that his palm print and fingerprints would be on it. Jayson then handed the gun to Kent and told him to wipe it down again and then strip down naked. He handed his clothes to John and told him to get rid of them. Then Jayson ran downstairs to his indoor swimming pool, jumped in, hoping that any of the gunpowder residue would wipe clean from the chlorine. Jayson came up with the suicide story and made sure everyone had their story straight before they called the police. He told the group to tell the police that they were downstairs and not in the room when the gun went off. After their interview, John and Kent took investigators to the spot where John hid Jayson's clothes, and sure enough, his clothes had Gus's blood on them. The DA released a statement on February 25th, 11 days after Gus's death, asking Jayson Williams to turn himself in. He voluntarily went to the police station where Jayson Williams was formally charged with second-degree reckless manslaughter. The charge was for manslaughter, not murder, because the DA believed that Kent and John's story, that it wasn't like intentional, right? Which I don't think it was intentional. I just think he's a douchebag.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that though, because it's like, it's just so, it's so reckless. I mean, you point a gun at someone, a loaded gun at someone on a regular basis. One of these days, it's gonna go off.
Yeah. Jayson was also charged with charges related to attempted cover-up. The charges include hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence, wiping down a shotgun, and fabricating evidence by trying to transfer Gus's fingerprints to the barrel. Jayson was charged with 8 counts that included aggravated manslaughter, reckless manslaughter, and witness tampering. The maximum sentence was 55 years if he was convicted on all counts. The court set the bail at $250,000, which obviously Jayson paid for. The investigation continued, and the police brought in the rest of the witnesses, including the 4 Harlem Globetrotters who were at Jayson's house that night. Their statements all matched the forensics and the same statements of Kent and John. So it sounds like they all kind of were like, yeah, that's what happened. However, there is a little more to the story. One of the Globetrotters, Benoit, I think that's how you would say it, Benjamin. It's Benoit, Benoit, told the police that Jayson was trying to show off his one-armed handling of the gun like he had done on the Cribs episode. He said that he could see that there was a shell in the lower chamber, that Benoit could see it. And he told the investigators that Jayson said something to Gus prior to showing off his shotgun. As Jayson brought the gun up, Benoit heard Jayson say something to Gus in the effect of, "What are you doing here, you motherfucking stoolie?" So,
what a dick.
Like, again, you know, like, I think
yeah,
you're right.
He's a dick.
Like, he's like, just
he's
that
asshole.
Dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2003, the Christofi family sued Jayson Williams, and they settled out of court for $2 million. He claimed that he wanted to apologize to Gus's family, but he wasn't allowed to because there were other people who had agendas. That's what he said, and he wasn't allowed to approach them. When the case was settled, after he did apologize to Gus's family. The trial started in 2004, and almost 2 years after, which was like 2 years after Gus's death. The witnesses that were at the mansion that night of the shooting were all granted immunity in exchange for their testimony. It lasted 6 weeks, went into deliberation at the end of April, and then 4 days later, they returned their decision. The jury was unable to come up with a unanimous decision on aggravated manslaughter charge, ending with an 8-4 vote to acquit. A mistrial was declared, and a portion of the trial, they were able to agree on some of the charges, like the cover-up of shooting and whatnot. He was scheduled to be retried in January of 2005 on reckless manslaughter charge, but that was delayed. And so in that time period, he ended up selling his mansion for $8 million. And then in April 2006, the court was ready and the lawyers decided to accept a plea deal, which is probably in his best interest if you're asking me. In 2009, Tanya filed for divorce, citing physical and emotional abuse, family abandonment, adultery, and substance abuse. In her suit, she claimed that Jayson abused alcohol, used cocaine, and was physically violent, smashing out her car, and was violent towards her.
Yeah, he sounded cokey to me.
Yeah, right. On January 10th, 2010, he pleaded guilty to a downgraded charge, and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, plus 8 months for a DUI that he got 5 days before he went to jail. Like 5 days.
Jeez. Yeah.
He crashed his SUV into a tree. He is like a real hot mess. He was released in April 2012, only 2 years later. Don't ask me.
Right. Okay.
He was put on, Jayson has put on a real good front in the public from then on. He talks about his sobriety. He has turned his life around. He helps others in the sobriety unit. In 2019, he was interviewed by the New York Post, saying that he was basically a robot. He says, "I try to do the exact same thing every day. I caused a lot of pain to my family, to Mr. Christofi's family, and to the people that love me."
Do you believe he's sincere?
Well, I don't know, because here is another thing. In 2022, just 2 years ago, St. John's University, that's where he played college ball, announced that they were going to induct him into their school's athletic hall of fame. Immediately, Jayson's daughter, Triumph and Wisdom, wrote letters to the school denouncing the decision and saying that St. John should be ashamed of their decision. Triumph was actually attending the university at the time, and she wrote this letter that their dad had neglected them and abused them for years.
Wow.
Details about the abuse were in the letter. And a quote from the letter states, "Why are you being honored and inducted into the Hall of Fame when I've always had to earn my survival, let alone my success, in spite of you? St. John's University, you should be ashamed of yourself." So I read both of those statements, right? I read his New York Post article where he works for this rehab place and he's a counselor there, and he says he's pretty robotic in what he does. And I think he let his family down, right? He was a total fuck of a person for a long time. Do I think he's a fuck of a person anymore? I really hope not. But I don't think that it can come together
my
anymore.
take on it would be he's probably a narcissist, and they just don't a leopard doesn't change its spots. He might be sober and conscious of what he should do and say, but a lot of narcissists are like the head of charities. They do it to fulfill something in themselves instead of genuinely do it for other people. Right. Everything is about their own ego. So I think his daughter speaking out on him says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And Aunt Dora, let's give her the last and final word. She says, Gus wasn't a limo driver who was shot by a famous person. He was Gus Christofi. His legacy should be that at any point you can turn your life around and find a sense of purpose. Gus's sense of purpose was to help others.
Yeah, Gus sounds like a good guy.
I know.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Gus. What a tragic story all the way around. But I think it was bound to happen with this guy's like.
It just is.
Totally,
you cannot be
like messing with guns like that. Like, what an idiot.
Oh yeah, let's like get coked up and drink and play with guns. Like,
yeah,
that's not a good
smart.
time.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that shit. So you shouldn't be pointing loaded guns at people sober, let alone like after you have a $4,000 bar bill.
No. Ever.
Ever. Yeah. So that's I don't have a lot of compassion for.
Do you remember hearing that story at all?
Responsibility. No, I do not.
Yeah, I do not remember hearing that story either, but I feel like it's one that we would have heard about. Although we were
saying this happened in 2005?
2004, I think. I say? Yeah, I mean, I was
on a boat, yo.
Yeah, you
that
were
year.
Definitely not.
I was not. Yeah.
Not doing any
oh my gosh, I just watched news. I recently just watched Step Brothers with my husband. In preparation for we're buying a boat. And so I needed to refresh my memory about boats and hoes, all things important. So much that it's so funny, but like you could just never get away with that anymore.
No.
But man, that movie holds up, you guys. That is so funny. Do not watch it with your children.
Do not watch it with your children. Also, don't listen to this program with your children unless they're like.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. This actually happened in 2002, by the way. So we were.
Oh, okay. We were just not paying attention.
Yeah. We were working it out back.
Yeah.
Doing whatever we wanted to do. If you all have not tried 5 Crimes, now is the time to do it. Because you really need your tan on. Trust me, I had such a nice tan going to Cancun, by the way. I forgot that I didn't actually have a base tan, that it was all fake. I burnt my ass. But everybody commented on how nice my tan looked before I went. I was like, and I only had used it for 2 days before I went, and I really already had like such a nice tan. And you need your hair to grow, and you need it to be thick. I was thinking to myself, like, this is the first time I went on vacation. Like, I always like to look really cute when I go on vacation, and I always stick in my hair pieces, my magic hair. First time I didn't stick in my magic hair.
That's really amazing.
I know.
I remember when you first went on vacation with friends that were new to you at the time.
Yes, and I had my magic hair.
She had her magic hair, and it was a great vacation. But she's like, we jumped in the pool, and it came out.
It was the whole halo, you guys, and it literally like. They were like, everybody jump in the pool. And I'm like, oh shit, how am I going to do this? But I just did it. And it seriously went floating away like a damn cat. Like, I was like, oh my God. My cat is in the water. That's what it looked like. It was really embarrassing. But I don't have to do that anymore, Gretch.
You don't have to do that anymore. Survive.
My nice hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catch us on Thursday on Patreon, and next Monday, Gretchy's on the mic.
Yeah.
Is that it for today?
That's it. True story.
All right. Hopefully you guys all had a really lovely Mother's Day. All you mothers, dog mothers, mother cluckers, grandmothers, mother cluckers,
mofos, all of them.
Whatever you happen to be. Happy day to you yesterday. Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.